Guardians, what's going on, guys? Sly here, back at it once again with another Destiny 2 Nightfall guide for you, and this week we're diving back into the Inverted Spire, although with a few different modifiers. All in all, really not that bad of a week. Prestige still gets a little tough, but only because of the time crunch and not because of the ads. It's also Vex this week and not Cabal, so it does make it a tad bit easier. So in this video, I'm going to show you all the best way to run the Inverted Spire Strike, or at least the best way that I've done it. Now, this is on Prestige and what this guide is made for, but if you can run Prestige, then you'll damn sure be able to run the normal Nightfall. So this guide definitely works for both, but the normal Nightfall is pretty easy this week, and a great week to grab the Rat King on other characters if you need it. So for weapons and subclasses, there's a lot of Arc and Void shields within this Nightfall, so I would definitely recommend an Arc or Void energy weapon, preferably 2 with Arc, 1 with Void. I also went with Wardcliff Coil. If your whole team has that, then you're going to be good to go. However, linear fusions work well, as does Merciless and rocket launchers. Stormcaller works great for ad clearing, but Nova Bomb is amazing for boss DPS. So ultimately, it's going to be up to your team, but they both work well here, and Nova Bomb does come in clutch here in a few areas. For Hunter, going Invis works really well. However, I believe Golden Gun works the best, and make it so that way precision hits gen orbs. It's crucial to have your supers back for the last stage. This strat pretty much depends on it. Titans, hammers work well for boss DPS and clearing ads, but Striker also is not a bad option either, especially with double pulse grenades, but again, it's not the best boss DPS as you get stomped out of the way fairly easily. However, it's awesome for clearing Cabal in the middle of the strike. If you're a Warlock and you have the Skull of Dire Ahamkara, they buff that helmet tremendously. If you have this helmet, you need to be using it. I had no idea how amazing it was until the beginning of this week. Unfortunately, it looks like doo-doo, but dude, is it powerful. One good super use nets you almost 3/4 of your Nova Bomb back. Pick up a few orbs, and you're back to full super. It is really, really good. Okay, so for primaries, of course, Nameless Midnight or Better Devils is my choice, but whatever you're comfortable with is, of course, the best thing to use. So start up the strike, choose Prestige, hop on your Sparrow, and go ahead and start your run. Now this time it's going to be full of Vex instead of Cabal, which gives you more enemies to kill and less majors to deal with. So in the end, it's way easier. The modifiers here are Attrition, which drops these little healing cones of light, and of course another Time Warp modifier. This week it's the killing one, so killing enemies gives you your time back. The first part, just tackle it head on and get through it as fast as possible. Once you raise the bridge and man cannon over to the next part, have 2 with scouts or rockets, stay back and take out the 2 Cyclops, and the other push up right underneath the tunnel and clear out the smaller ads. Save your heavy as much as possible for right now. Use your Rift every time if you have it available, and make sure it's on healing. Damage is good, but healing keeps you alive, which is way more important than damage, at least in this Nightfall. Once you make it past the Cyclopses, go ahead and run your ass off until you get to the next area. Have 2 stay up top, and then 1 person jump below and attract all the enemies to get a little bit closer. Just stay behind this rock and kind of peek out and do as much as you can. The other 2 can stay up top with scout rifles and pick them all off. There will be multiple waves of enemies here, so don't jump down too early. Once you thin them out, meet your guy by the rock and then start working on everything. Try to get one of the Hydra's healths all the way down to when the other is pushing up. Feel free to use a super here, but don't use them all. 1 super can clear both of these Hydras. And remember, you're in a hurry, so try to be as fast as possible. Use a heavy if you have to. Pick up all the orbs and heavy that's been dropped, and then make your way out like normal. Feel free to pick off these goblins, but don't stop for them. If you can kill them while you're on the move, great. If not, don't worry about them. It's not worth taking 5 seconds to kill 2 goblins that will only net you back 4 seconds in return. The theme here is having 2 pushing up all the time and 1 kind of lagging behind getting all the stragglers. That way you can always be working on the next area, but sure that you're getting the most time back as possible. Once you make it past the jumping area, hop down, get on your Sparrow, and split up. This is where supers and Wardcliff Coil comes in handy. 1 goes left, the other goes right, and 1 right up the middle. The one who has a good ad control super should be going middle, because there's going to be an assload of Vex just waiting for you. The other 2 go left and right, taking your Sparrow all the way up to these huts with the 2 majors in them. That's where you need to go. I was on the right, so your first priority is to clear the major, throwing those rockets at the very top, and then the sniper. A pulse grenade and 1 Wardcliff Coil does the job nicely. The other player needs to take his sniper down first as well. This opens up the middle for a super use and clearing all these ads, which gives you a bunch of time back, as well as orbs. So once that's taken care of, weaken down your boss within each hut with a few rocket shots, and then finish him off with a super, but try not to use all of your heavy if you can. If you're low, then just wait for backup. You're going to need your heavy for this next part. Once bosses on the left and right are cleared, you can kind of pretty much cheese this next part. You have to kill the third major before activating the man cannons. Now what you can do here is corner him when he's fighting those other Praetorians. Simply walk up to him with a Wardcliff coil, aim for his knees, and then it will simply blow him off the bridge. That's like 20 to 30 seconds saved, and you'll still get your plus 7 seconds back when he finally hits the death barrier down below. So a pretty good way to skip that part. Next, activate the man cannon and go ahead and clear the adds up top. Now, this isn't a must, but I try not to shoot the canisters behind these guys. If you save them, you can push them over the side and then they blow up on impact down below and they'll kill just about everything down there besides a Minotaur or two. It's a nice time-saving thing to do and it gives you more time to set up, and it's just like a little extra safety net instead of jumping down into a bunch of enemies. This area here is just a matter of surviving, guys. Use healing rifts right after your first wave of ad spawns. Don't use them too early or they're going to run out. So when you see your first Minotaur spawn in, that's when you want to set down your rift. Now, if you have a Nova Bomb, you can wipe them out just pretty much instantly. So definitely shoot for that. Also, when they pop their void shields, it hurts other enemies, which makes it even better. So just try to team shoot as much as possible and use supers if you have them. This should be the last area that you use your super in. After this, you're going to try to save them for the boss. If you huddle in the back where you interact with the encounter to start it, you can usually focus on one side and then switch back to the other as a team, shooting as you go. Like I said, use supers here, make sure you share the orbs, and try not to die before you pick them up, so that way you can be working on your next super. Now, once you start to see harpies, wait until they bunch up and they're close together. They have arc shields, and using an arc weapon will pretty much set off a chain reaction. You shoot one, and when the next shield pops, rest of them will fall like dominoes. Then they're simply one shot away. They're really easy to clean up. As soon as the harpies are cleared and the cannon's ready to fire, take it and get out of there. Now, there will be a bunch of enemies that spawn here, including a yellow bar Hydra and a couple of major Minotaurs, but they're a bunch of trolls. If you don't kill them within a certain amount of time of like 20 seconds, they will all just despawn, and then you simply wasted 30 to 40 seconds. So the best thing to do here is simply save the time that you have and keep going. Alright, so after the man cannon, have one person with Void take out the flamethrower dudes, and then once the left side is clear, the player with Void goes on the right, works on that guy, and the guy with the arc can move up to get the harpies. These are pretty easy kills, so just get through them really quickly, and you can add back a few seconds. After that's all done and over with, jump down, and then in this area, you can do one of two things. If you have a Void Walker with a dire Ahamkara helmet on, you can Nova Bomb these guys and get a bunch of time back and 3/4 of your super. But if you do not have the helmet on, then simply run by on the left-hand side and skip all of them. Go ahead and run towards the drills. Now, at this stage of the strike, the drills are just too dangerous and the enemies are too spread out to make up any time here by killing adds. There's a nice pocket of enemies at the spawn cave on your immediate right, so throw a pulse grenade in there or something like that, and then once you take the middle right, you'll have this drop down right in the middle with another spawn cave. Throw a grenade in there and then simply keep running. There are 2 yellow bar snipers that will probably be killing one of you, but if you run as a group, they can't get you all, and all you need is one person to make it to the drop down point at the boss, and it will respawn everyone back in, even if their timer wasn't finished counting down. It's not worth the extra time to kill 10 to 15 adds and get 20 to 35 seconds back if it takes you 40 seconds to hunt them all down. You're netting yourself a loss there, or if you get hit by a drill in the process, which is then a huge waste of time. Deaths are the biggest factor in this week's Prestige mode, so if one person is down, that's a huge amount of total DPS out the window, and the burden becomes greater on whoever's left. So just go ahead and run by everything, make it easier on yourselves. Now, once you make it down to the boss, this is where you've been saving your supers for since the halfway point. Designate who is going to use their super at each stage of the boss fight. The trick is to get him to teleport to the next stage as fast as absolutely possible. 1, it saves time, and 2, there won't be any adds to get in your way of doing damage. At this point in the strike, it's all about boss damage, not trying to add back time. You don't have enough time to kill the adds and get back a meager amount of time doing so, and then focus on doing the boss. So save at least 1 rocket or a couple of sniper shots, a couple of linear fusion shots, whatever you happen to be using for the very end. But the important part here is to use a super at every phase of the boss fight. Of course, there's 3 phases, you have 3 team members, so that splits up evenly. If you do enough damage with your weapons and super, you can get him to teleport without messing around with all of these shielded harpies. Now, if you guys do end up dying, Do not spawn back in when your timer is up. Simply wait for your entire team's countdown to be finished, and then all of you spawn back in at once. If you go back in one at a time, you're not going to be able to take all of that damage and get revives. And with no healing available unless you kill something, it simply becomes an endless loop of reviving and then instantly dying. You can waste minutes if you get caught in this loop. So getting him to teleport early is the key way to start this off. Once you use your super at each phase of the fight, you can do the rest with weapons. Once you get to the middle stage, remember that these columns are safe places for when he does that ground pound. Just simply throw up a barricade shield or a health rift and then keep doing as much damage as possible. Have one person use their super at this stage as well. Once you get to the bottom, save your remaining heavy and supers for when he goes into his headless phase. This is when you're going to use your last remaining super and heavy weapons. Once those are done, you should be good to go. But if there is a sliver of health left, hide behind one of the pillars, drop down a healing rift, and then simply take pop shots at him until he's down. But if you saved enough heavy and you use your supers in the right way, he should be down and you should be good to go. But that's about it, guys. The key here is knowing when to run and when to fight. Sometimes fighting only takes away time. Remember, you only get 2 seconds back per red bar. Shooting a few of them and then reloading will at times take more time than you get back, which at that point, it doesn't make any sense because you're once again netting a loss. Once you get a good run in, you should have plenty of time for the final boss. You should be hitting the drills with around 4 minutes, maybe even 5. If there are a couple of hiccups, which in Prestige mode there always is, you still have plenty of time to kill him. But that's it for me, y'all. As always, thank you for watching and for supporting the channel. Now, if you're new to the nation, thanks for stopping by, and we would love to have you here with us. Subscribe for tons more D2 coverage. Spank the thumbs up only if you enjoyed yourself, and comment down below if you have any questions or just want to say what's up. Take care, guys, and keep those eyes open for more videos coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you guys next time.